Lana Del Rey really rhymed suicidal and the Bible in a song on this album. Did you know that there's a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard? It's in Long Beach. And it's actually symbolic of how Lana really feels. If you'd like to find out the hidden meaning behind the title of this album, keep watching to find out. This shit is a trip. Y'all aren't getting it. This album covers topics including death, suicide, sex, aging, and relationships. That's some dark stuff. Originally, I listened to this album all the way through, then I listened to some Suicide Boys and Billie Eilish to cheer me up. This album begins with a grandiose opening with some female lead and background vocals traveling into some classical instrumentation, and it seems to be dedicated towards her family. The line, "Do you think about heaven?" introduces topics such as death and Christianity that will be brought up throughout the whole album, especially the first half. The Grants is followed by the title track, "Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard?" Which, does it have punctuation? As I mentioned earlier, the tunnel is a metaphor. This is a direct reference of a tunnel that was under Long Beach that was once beautiful and popular, but is now boarded up and unknown. This could symbolize Lana referring to herself, whether that's her personal life or her music. This track was originally a single and it's a catchy fan favorite. Sweet has some absurd lyrics with some really slow piano, like many of her other songs. Part of me wonders if Lana's goal was comedy or shock factor with this one. Hence, I'm different. If you want some basic bitch, go to the Beverly Center. Lana, don't act like you've never been there. I just found out that Los Angeles is Lana's theme, and that's very apparent here on this album. Her vintage vibes are continuing to carry on. I suspect that many of her fans will eventually check out this album and be pleasantly surprised, especially considering that some of her older songs are still very popular. For example, Cinnamon Girl is trending right now despite the fact that she just released this album. I believe that it might take some time for her fans to start paying attention to Ocean Boulevard and really start digesting it. The metaphor was right, you guys. Did you know that Lana just released a new album called Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? She's been pumping out so much content lately, and a lot of her recent albums have been misses for her diehard fans, but this one is quite redeemable. I digress. Hiking Up Griffith builds ambiance in this third song on the album, which overall as a track, Sweet feels a bit boring and unoriginal, almost like a filler song on this record. This is the most music you'll ever listen to. Fortunately, the album picks itself up quickly with the next track, which you may have heard of, called A&W. Now this one, A&W, standing for American Whore, is pretty on brand for her. It's vintage with the soda. Also, if you call it pop or soda pop, click off. And American Whore just heavily relates to lyrics she's stuck with throughout her career. You guys, this song is 7 minutes long and I listen to it fully every time. This song, along with the last track, Taco Truck XBB, they both have switches which make it an entertaining album to listen to. A&W features a slower intro, then there's a switch where it turns into a trippy, echoey trap mix. Not to mention some shameless but bomb lyrics. Looking like a side piece at 33. Your mom called, I told her you're fucking up big time, but I don't care, baby, I already lost my mind. Next, we get to experience a series of 3 songs, beginning with a passionate priest in a voice recording that Lana must have taken on her iPhone during church. Then, Candy Necklace spiraling us into a deep depression. Then we escalate back up into psychological terror as Jon Batiste experiences the effects of a spiritual trip. Let's break that down a bit. Yes, Lana did sneak her phone to catch a little voice memo of megachurch pastor Judah Smith speaking, who has a troubled history, but has also been featured on other albums. A woman's voice, I'm assuming Lana'S, is featured validating the man speaking. I didn't know that Lana'S music had such strong Christian undertones. Honestly, in this song, Judah brings facts when he asks God to bring him gratitude and a desire to help his community. Then he starts heavily referencing the Bible, and as a non-Christian listener, I couldn't help but tune it out and start getting distracted by the other musical elements in this song, like the piano. This was the most church I've experienced all year. This ending transports us into what feels like a space tunnel into Candy Necklace. Candy Necklace, aka Cinnamon Girl Part 2, features Jon Batiste. Yes, the one from Stephen Colbert. This song was not a single, but is one of the most popular, strongest pieces from this album. It's slow, dramatic, and catchy with depressing vocals and a retro feel to it. This song and the music video feel like a soap opera. The video is also really good as it's a take on behind the scenes in old Hollywood. This song is dark, haunting, and somehow even feels like it's in black and white. Sitting on the sofa feeling super suicidal. Hate to say the word, but baby, hand on the Bible. I do think that it's you, the one who's bringing me down. Lana Del Rey really rhymed suicidal and the Bible in a song on this album. Jon's vocals close out the song in a really gentle way. The song sits with you though. If you're listening to the album in order, put on a seatbelt for the next song. Jon Batiste Interlude is a daisy layered studio session recording with heavy piano. Sorta sounds like it was recorded from a phone sitting on a piano being played, but it becomes funky quickly with laughing cymbals and groovy tones. Lana's voice is featured kind of randomly singing in the background, but it works because the whole song feels like a collaborative jam sesh. On this track, Jon is experiencing some sort of spiritual awakening, like the highest of the highs, and Lana's just kind of there validating him. I feel it early, I feel it heavy, I feel it. Yup. There is speculation on Reddit that Jon is on psychedelics in this song, but it could just be the power of God. Honestly, when I heard this for the first time, I didn't correlate it with drugs. I just assumed that Jon was high off life. Now, you don't have to go to a museum or a Japanese art history class in order to learn about kintsugi. Instead, all you gotta do is type Lana Del Rey into Apple Music or Spotify. This one features beautiful whistling and creative, delicate lyrics. That's How the Light Gets In is the moany chorus in which Lana carries a longing feeling in her voice. Daddy, I Miss Them. Just like A&W, this track is also 6 minutes long, but I feel like this one is weaker at maintaining my attention. That's partially because I'm a sucker for trap, but if you like something slow, this one might suit your taste more. While we're already on the topic of depression, let's just keep that momentum going and discuss death real quick. Fingertips is a very slow, very vulnerable song that is growing on me. It's worth listening to 100%. It addresses death within her family while also discussing her busy life where she can't take a moment to grieve. Paris, Texas, featuring Simmel, brings in a new light where Lana discusses running away from her life and possibly her problems to travel the world and visit her friends. Really cute and blissful. Grandfather, Please Stand on the Shoulders of My Father While He's Deep Sea Fishing, featuring Rio B, is low-key catchy. Grandfather, please stand on the shoulders of my father while he's deep sea fishing. Sounds like that, pretty much. Let the Light In, featuring Father John Misty, I actually found on a Spotify playlist called Sad Girl Starter Pack. It depicts a couple who spends all their time hanging out around town falling in love. I find it interesting how the album starts to take a turn, starting out with this song, changing from focusing on death, family, and the Bible, and gathers more hopeful tones, focusing on infatuation and falling in love. I feel like I would hear this in a Midwestern record store. This whole album draws Midwestern elements for whatever reason. But Let the Light In is my second favorite song from this album, right after Margaret, featuring Bleachers, aka Jack Antonoff, her producer. This one is a magical sounding love song written for Jack's fiance, and the lyrics recount the day that Jack met his soon-to-be wife, Margaret. 'Cause When You Know is a powerful spiritual chorus. It's my favorite song. Duh. Fishtail reminds me of A&W because it starts out slow, then introduces a trap beat. It's another love song. Peppers, featuring Tommy Genesis, has a lot of potential as it's an attention grabber. It's fast, intense, hardcore, and sexually explicit with trap. Also a love song with Tommy's voice being sampled. I find it fascinating how Lana includes so many different artists, as that's a typical veteran move that artists who tend to stay in the music industry seem to be incorporating into their work. It's a way for them to highlight smaller artists while still conserving their energy yet making new music. It's a smart move, and it's a good sign that Lana still plans to continue making projects in her future, aka she's in it for the long run. Lastly, we have Taco Truck times VB, which finishes out the string of love songs we heard in the last leg of the album. But it still reinstates the overall depressing themes of Ocean Boulevard. This song has some of the laziest vocals, but I think they're just there to emphasize the lyrics. I feel like Lana wanted to make her voice and the lyrics sound pathetic, just to make us depressed. I think that was the whole goal of this album, to be honest. Rating. I'm gonna give this one a 7. Would I buy this poster? Maybe. I do enjoy her serving credits out to all the producers and artists who helped with the release of this album. You don't see that very often in this day and age in the music industry. It's always a group effort, even if it doesn't look the part, but it does in this case. I find that to be a step in a positive direction. It showcases that Lana is more focused on the music. Now that I'm finished reviewing this album, I would still love to go back and listen to it again. I'm not like, ew, get it away from me, I don't want to hear it again. I'm like, I'd sprinkle some songs into my depression playlist, for sure. Let me know what you thought of this album and share some suggestions for some new album reviews below. For my next video, I'll be reviewing Sunburn by Dominic Fike. Check out more album reviews on my channel, and I will see you babies next time. Bye!